The elegant restaurant glowed with soft lighting as Thomas Bennett adjusted his tie nervously, waiting for his blind date to arrive. At 39, he was CEO of Bennett Technologies, wealthy beyond measure, but profoundly lonely after a divorce 3 years earlier that had left him isolated and cautious about relationships. His business partner had set up the date. Her name is Rachel. She's beautiful, intelligent, and genuine. Just meet her. What's the worst that could happen? When Rachel arrived, Thomas understood immediately why his friend had been insistent. She was striking blonde hair swept up elegantly, wearing a simple black dress that was tasteful rather than showy, with an air of quiet confidence that came from somewhere deeper than appearance. "Thomas, I'm Rachel." She extended her hand with a warm smile. "Please, sit. I'm glad you came." They ordered drinks and fell into easy conversation. Rachel was funny, well-read, and asked thoughtful questions about his work without seeming impressed by his wealth or position. She worked as a graphic designer, she said, freelancing for various clients. "Do you enjoy the flexibility of freelancing?" Thomas asked. "I do. It lets me manage my own schedule, which is important." For Rachel paused, seemed to make a decision, then continued smoothly. "For maintaining work-life balance." Thomas noticed the hesitation but did not press. They talked for 2 hours, and Thomas found himself more engaged than he had been in years. Rachel was easy to talk to, genuinely interested in him as a person rather than a business opportunity, and made him laugh in ways he had forgotten he could. "I'd really like to see you again," Thomas said as dinner ended. "If you're interested." "I am," Rachel said, "but I need to tell you something first. Something I should have mentioned earlier, but I was nervous about how you'd react." Thomas felt his guard go up slightly. "Okay, I have a daughter, Emma. She's 5 years old. I'm a divorced, single mother, and Emma is my absolute priority. If that's a deal-breaker, I understand, but I needed to be honest before we go any further." Thomas felt multiple emotions, at once surprise that she had hidden this, relief that it was nothing more serious, and something unexpected, interest. "Why didn't you tell me at the start of dinner?" "Because I've been on dates where men's entire demeanor changes the moment they find out I have a child. They suddenly remember they have somewhere to be, or they become dismissive, or they make it clear they're not interested in someone with baggage." Rachel's voice was matter-of-fact, but Thomas could hear the hurt beneath. "I wanted one evening where someone saw me as just Rachel, not Rachel this single mother." Thomas understood that desire more than she knew. He had spent years being seen as Thomas this EEO, rather than just Thomas. "I appreciate your honesty. And no, it's not a deal-breaker. Can I ask what happened with your marriage?" Rachel's expression clouded. "My ex-husband decided when Emma was 2 that fatherhood wasn't for him. He left, signed away his parental rights, and I haven't heard from him in 3 years. It's been just Emma and me since then. That must be incredibly hard." "Some days it is, but Emma is the best thing in my life. She's funny and smart and kind. I wouldn't trade being her mother for anything." Rachel looked at Thomas seriously. "But I need you to understand, if we continue seeing each other, Emma is part of the package. I don't introduce her to people I'm dating casually. But eventually, if this goes somewhere, you'd need to be okay with a child in your life." Thomas reached across the table and took her hand. "Rachel, I'd like to get to know you better, and when the time is right, I'd like to meet Emma. The fact that you're a devoted mother isn't baggage, it's one of the most admirable things I've learned about you tonight." Over the following months, Thomas and Rachel built their relationship carefully. Rachel was cautious about introducing Emma, wanting to be sure this was serious before involving her daughter. Thomas respected that boundary while learning about Rachel's life as a single mother, the challenges, the joys, the constant balancing act. 4 months into their relationship, Rachel finally invited Thomas to meet Emma. He arrived at their modest apartment with age-appropriate gifts and realistic expectations. Emma was shy at first, watching this stranger in her home with cautious eyes, but Thomas knew better than to try too hard. He let Emma approach at her own pace, answered her questions honestly, and showed genuine interest in her drawings and stories. "Do you like my mummy?" Emma asked with the direct honesty only children possess. "I do, very much. She's pretty wonderful." "Are you going to leave like my other daddy did?" Thomas felt his heart break at the question. He knelt down to Emma's level. "I can't promise I'll be here forever, because life is complicated. But I can promise that if I'm in your life, I'm choosing to be here. I won't leave just because being a parent is hard, and I will always treat your mummy with kindness and respect." Rachel, listening from the kitchen, felt tears stream down her face. She had been so afraid of this moment, so worried that introducing Emma would scare Thomas away. Instead, he was making promises he didn't have to make, treating her daughter with genuine care. 6 months after meeting Emma, Thomas proposed not to Rachel alone, but to both of them together. "Rachel, you waited for months before letting me meet Emma because you wanted to protect her. That showed me you're an extraordinary mother. Emma, your mum told me on our first date that you were her priority, and I saw that as strength, not baggage." Thomas knelt with the ring. "I'm not just asking Rachel to marry me. I'm asking if both of you will let me be part of this family you've built. Emma, would it be okay if I tried to be a good dad to you? Rachel, will you marry me?" Emma looked at her mother, then at Thomas. "Will you read me bedtime stories every night if you want? Then okay, you can be my daddy." Rachel, crying, said yes. Later that evening, after Emma was asleep, Rachel asked Thomas the question that had been haunting her. "Why didn't you tell me on that first date that you were divorced, that you understood loss and complications? We both hid important things about ourselves." Thomas smiled. "For the same reason you didn't tell me about Emma right away. I wanted to be seen as just Thomas, not Thomas the divorced CEO with trust issues. We both wanted one evening of being just ourselves before revealing the complicated parts. And now?" Rachel asked. "Now I'm grateful for all the complicated parts. Your devotion to Emma, your caution about protecting her, your strength in raising her. Alone those aren't complications. They're the reasons I fell in love with you." At their wedding, with Emma as flower girl, Thomas's vows made everyone cry. "My wife didn't tell me on our first date that she had a daughter. She was protecting both herself and her child from judgment. When she finally told me, she asked if it was a deal breaker. I asked why she didn't tell me sooner. The answer taught me everything I needed to know about her character. She puts her daughter first, always. That's not baggage. That's love. Thank you, Rachel, for eventually trusting me with both your heart and your daughter. Thank you, Emma, for letting me be your dad." If this story reminded you that honesty and protection can coexist, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment about when someone's protective love showed you their true character.